then you have joined the right live because today we are talking about going global. Uh, I want to tell you a little bit about what I do and how I help people. For the last 14 years, I've been designing award winning, game changing improv comedy courses for individuals and for businesses. And I want to share with you the framework that I have used in helping Fortune 500 companies, top global conglomerates, big celebrities access their zone of genius in the funnest, easiest, simplest way possible. This Sunday, I'm going to be holding a masterclass where I will teach you the exact framework. So, if you are a founder, an entrepreneur, a business owner, we are going to be looking at how to take your business and your life to the next level. If you are wanting to go global, if you are wanting to uh, learn how to access your zone of genius, find your creative, uh, your access your creative juices, the thing that makes you authentic, the thing that makes you funny, brilliant, wonderful, genius, you. This is the masterclass for you. So, for those of you who don't know my story, I went to Wits Drama School. And when I was done at drama school, I went to go and see an agent in South Africa who, and I remember I was so excited. I took my CV with a few little lines on my CV and a heart full of hope. And I sat in front of this agent, and he didn't even look at my CV. I made a show reel, everything. He didn't even look at it. He took one look at me and said, I'm sure you're really talented, but you're too large to be in this industry. Now, I don't know how many of you have ever been looked directly in the eye, yet felt completely unseen. Because at that moment, I realized that I had bought into the lie that you needed to look, be, and act a certain way in order to get into the entertainment industry. I'd also bought into the lie that society had told me that if I studied at university, even if I was studying what I was passionate about, I would have something to fall back on. I would need something to fall back on in the first place. Um, that I would be guaranteed a job when I got out of university. And for those of you who have, unfortunately, in many ways, spent all that money on a university degree, um, and gotten out of university and not been able to find a job, you will understand what I'm talking about. So this happened, and I was completely broken uh, from the thoughts from actually I was completely broken because I put my worth and my self-worth into the hands of someone else. I let somebody else determine my worth. So I remember thinking, oh, I've got to go out, I've got to find a job, I'm probably going to become a teacher, I need something to fall back on. And I remember I had a vision board, and on my vision board at the time, there was a picture of Amy Poehler, and underneath the picture of Amy Poehler, there was a line that she had said, where she said, improv is like the military, we leave no man behind. And I remember reading that line. I don't know how many of you have ever read something that has inspired you to the core of your soul, that has allowed you to take massive action and do whatever it takes. Because that's what this line did to me. It like resonated. And I realized that I had felt completely left behind by an industry that promised me that I would have security. Okay. And that promised me that I would be welcomed because of my talents, not because of my looks or my weight. So I, in that moment, made a decision to go all in, to bet on myself completely, that I was going to be so good at this thing that they could not ignore me. And that thing was improv comedy. So, for those of you who don't know what improv comedy is we all improvise every single moment of every day. We are. It is, yeah, we are doing it whether we're at work or with our families. Um, it is basically the brain's ability to come up with ideas, spontaneously create on demand. Okay, but obviously, when we talk about improv comedy, we talk about spontaneously creating comedy. So it's the ability to create comedy magic out of nothing. And I made a decision that day that I was going to be so good that they couldn't ignore me. So I was like, I need to go and study at the home of improv comedy. I need to go to where the cast of Saturday Night Live are trained. I need to go to where the cast of Second City are trained. There's no training like this in South Africa. So I looked up the courses that I needed to go to. I put my life savings aside, and my life savings didn't come close. So I actually at a time read a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad, and for those of you who have read it, you know how some of those lines also get to the core of your being. And one of the lines that really stuck out for me was rich dad would say, a poor dad would say, I can't afford this. And rich dad would say, how can I afford this? And that changed the game for me because I was like, I can't actually, if I look at the reality and I look at my bank account, I can't actually afford it. But how would I be able to afford this? And I went to every single grant institution in South Africa that I could and applied for a grant. And eventually I got a grant and was able to pay toward this transformative experience that would change the trajectory of my life. So I booked a ticket to go to New York, LA, and Chicago. And for as long as I could, I did as many courses as I could around improv comedy, stand-up comedy, comedy. And I had a major aha. And my first major aha that I had was on the first day of improv comedy class, they tell you that any idea that you share in this class is valid and will be accepted by the group, no matter how silly, no matter how strange. And I remember I'd never felt like that before. I'd never felt that my ideas or my voice matter in that way. Because the support of everybody else in the group, the support of everybody in improv comedy is so strong. There is such a strong sense of group mind. It really teaches you how to be there for each other and how to trust each other and how to trust your own ideas. So I had never before this been able to trust my own ideas or even listen. I couldn't listen to my intuition. I couldn't listen to my voice. I couldn't listen to my ideas because my self-sabotage center, the part of me that was shouting, Claudine, you are unworthy, was so loud that I couldn't actually access my zone of genius. That was my first aha. Then I looked around the improv comedy class, and what I saw in that class was that I was one of the only people in the class who came to improv class to study comedy to get good at comedy. I wanted to be the best improviser I could. I wanted to be the best stand-up comedian I could. Everyone else around me came to improv comedy class to get good at life. So I had a major aha in that moment as well because I was like, this doesn't exist in South Africa. So that in that moment, I realized and I made the decision that I was going to come back to South Africa and create the first ever improv comedy training company for Africa. And when I say first ever, I mean on this level, teaching corporates, teaching individuals how to up level, how to apply improv skills. And so Jittery Citizens was born. And since then, I have worked with, Fortune 500 companies. I've worked with top global execs. I've worked with celebrities and top comedians. I've even trained a whole bunch of the agent who turned me down, a whole bunch of his performers. And I don't say this to impress you. I say this to impress upon you what is possible when you decide to go all in. Decide to go pro. Decide to be of service. Decide to use your talents, gifts, superpowers to change the world. Okay? I also realized so many wonderful things from my 14 years of training and training corporates and training clients. When people say to me, improv comedy, how can improv help business? How can improv help my life? And one of the major ways improv can help business and can help your life is if I think back on my comedy career and I think of the amount of times that I have failed and died on stage and I have had to sit in the awkwardness and sit in the pain of failure, it's totally made me beyond resilient because it has changed the way I see failure. But also, I can read a room. And that has been one of the most powerful tools in terms of business. I can walk into a room and know how to handle this pitch, know how to handle this presentation, know how to, you know, really grasp what is in front of me because of my years of failing, dying, winning on stage. It has taught me how to read a room. And that is one of the biggest ways improv can and will change your business. Okay? There are so many other ways that improv comedy is the most fantastic tool for accessing your zone of genius, accessing the vulnerable part of you that allows you to show up fully as who you are. It allows you to access the prefrontal cortex, which is the part of the brain that is responsible for creative flow, for prayer, for meditation. And the part of the brain that goes quiet and shuts down is the lizard part of the brain, which is the self-sabotage center that says, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy. So there are so many benefits to learning comedy, for business, for life. And if you guys want to learn how to show up fully in your light and create the business and the life of your dreams, I am holding a masterclass this Sunday. It is the final masterclass I will be holding, the final From Block to Brilliant masterclass. I will put a link below this video, and you guys can sign up to attend the final masterclass From Block to Brilliant, where you guys will get access to my proprietary framework that has helped Fortune 500 companies, celebs, top comedians access their zone of genius. And if you guys have ever seen, or if you guys are fans of comedy, you will know that who better to learn how to access your zone of genius from than from a comedian. So if you guys want to be inspired, want to be delighted, want to have so much fun and get started on the most powerful, transformative journey possibly of your life, I want you to show up this Sunday. I have limited spaces available. The masterclass is completely free, so you have nothing to lose. There's a VIP upgrade available where you get tons of bonuses. I would love to see you there. I would love to improvise with you all and let us break through those limiting beliefs. Angel Doves, have a beautiful Tuesday and remember to stay hilarious.